Everybody, welcome to the Young Turks. We've got a fascinating interview for you guys today. I think you'll agree with me. It's Sydney Leathers. Now, she's, of course, famous for receiving some interesting pictures from, at the time, Congressman Anthony Weiner. Of course, he's resigned since. You might not know she was also a blogger for Indiana Progressive Liberals, and she was a field organizer for the Obama re-election campaign. And so, Sydney, great to have you on the Young Turks.
It's great to be here. I've been a big fan of yours for quite some time. I know you're not as big of a fan of me, but I'm hoping maybe I can change that a little.
Well, we're going to have a conversation and we're going to see where it goes, okay? So I'm looking forward to it. Look, a lot of the interviews I do with politicians or whoever, I kind of know where they're going. This, I don't know where it's going, so it could be fun. Let's start at the beginning with Congressman Weiner. What was your first interaction with him?
My first interaction with him was after he resigned from Congress, the first time actually. I had been a big fan of his, obviously, as well, kind of had him on this pedestal. So I had sent him a Facebook message initially, just kind of saying that it was disappointing because he was someone I looked up to, and that was the first, instance of any kind of correspondence we would have had.
So after he resigned, so he already had the scandal, he resigns, then you guys actually talk for the first time on Facebook.
This is true. Yeah, a lot of people kind of lumped me in with the first scandal. I had no contact with him while he was in Congress whatsoever. It was all after he resigned.
Fascinating. So you already knew what Carlos Danger was up to?
I did.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. That's interesting. So you reach out to him on Facebook. What does he do?
He actually didn't respond for about, I want to say like 9 months. It was less than a year, but like getting close to that point. And then when he finally did message me, it started out very casual, like, I'm sorry I let you down, that type of stuff. And then he had poked me on Facebook, which led to a friend request. And then once he was on my friends list and could see all my pictures and, links that I would post about politics or things that I would write, he was like, you're really bright, you're really pretty, and just kind of started to butter me up from there.
Ah, okay, that's fun. So first of all, why did you, before we get to Carlos's reaction to you, why did you send a message to Anthony Weiner?
Like I said, I'm really passionate about politics, and I think, living in a really conservative area, it led me, I'm pretty liberal anyway, but then I was really interested in like the Alan Graysons and Anthony Weiners of the world. We definitely don't have that in Indiana. Mm-hmm. So I was intrigued by him, liked him as a politician, really liked when he'd get hyperbolic on the House floor. I just thought he was a great politician, and I was constantly singing his praises, and then the whole scandal happened, and I remember him trying to act like he was framed for that, and I was one of those people. I was like, there's no way he would be stupid enough to tweet his penis. Like, yeah, right, Andrew Breitbart's behind all of this, so,
yeah.
It kind of sucked then finding out that you're sticking up for this guy who was not telling the truth.
Well, I was right there with you. I thought there's no way that could be true, and I was wrong about that. Okay, and now, let's be honest, Sydney, how much did you reciprocate?
Oh, yeah, I totally did. I totally played into it. The thing that confuses a lot of people, too, they think that I just had this master plan the whole time, and it really wasn't like that at all. Embarrassingly enough, I actually did kind of develop feelings in the situation, and yeah, it just wasn't good. Wasn't smart on my part or his.
Okay, and at what point, you said it went pretty quickly, you guys are going back and forth, getting heated, right? At what point does he say, okay, this is the time, here's my penis?
He actually surprised me with it. I never asked for it ever. So it just kind of appeared in my inbox at one day. And then it kind of felt like a threat at one point too. He sent the first penis picture and then he goes, I took this specifically for you, so if it gets out there, I know you did it. I'm like, okay.
Okay,
great.
Well. Yeah, I hear you on that. He's trying to cover his tracks in the worst possible way. So, Sydney, you've seen some of the videos we did when the story broke, right? And so,
yeah.
I was critical of you. And the reason I was critical of you is because it seemed like after the whole story broke, you played it like you were a victim, right? And I just couldn't believe that. Based on what I had seen already and based on this conversation too, it seemed like you were a total, massive, willing participant. So I didn't understand why you were painting like, oh no, oh woe is me. Like I didn't. So help me understand that.
I'm so glad you brought this up because this is part of the reason why I really wanted to talk with you is so you could see my side a little bit more. I didn't necessarily think of myself as a victim by any means, and I was a willing participant in the whole sexting thing. I think where I had problems is where, I was younger and got emotions involved, and I think my feelings were hurt more than I was allowing myself to kind of admit to people. I was definitely feeling it a little more than I was saying. And I think also, there are a lot of misconceptions about how everything came out in the press and that I really wanted it to be this way. And in reality, I broke the story on thedirty.com. I spoke with Nick Ritchie about this many times before he released anything. And I just flat out told him, I don't think I can handle this. I don't want to go forward unless I feel like I can stay anonymous. And yeah, that was really naive of me in hindsight. But I truly didn't think I could handle it. I had my mindset on going back to school and kind of getting my life together, and I had been really, really severely depressed at the time. And I think that was a big part of why I thought, oh my God, I can't handle, pressure from the media or whatever. Like, I don't want to be scrutinized. I already felt really bad about myself at the time. So I thought I would just have a nervous breakdown. I didn't think I could handle it.
But Sydney, that leads into the second criticism that I had of you, which is that it appeared to the naked eye that you didn't mind the spotlight. Like you're saying here, I understand what you're saying, like, oh, well, it's tough to handle the spotlight, which is absolutely true. But then you sought it out significantly, because apparently Anthony Weiner had interactions like this with several women, right? But we know mainly about you because you went and did the naked pictures, and then you did the porn, and then you basically went uninvited to his election night, headquarters when he came in fifth. So doesn't it seem like you didn't mind the attention?
Yeah, totally. Basically what happened for me was I was in that spot where I was like, oh my God, I can't handle this. There's no way. And then almost immediately BuzzFeed out to me. So at that point, I really was, I had a full-blown panic attack, locked myself in my apartment, didn't want to leave. But it's like once you're outed, I kind of felt like I already knew people were going to start talking about me, and I kind of felt like I wanted to speak for myself, and then it just kind of snowballed from there.
But okay, so talk to me about how it snowballed. All right, so you're out there now, and people know you after BuzzFeed reveals who you are. But that's a big jump from there to naked pictures with Vivid and kind of a naked video, and then a slightly bigger jump to porn. How did that happen?
Well, we got the offer from Vivid had approached my manager, I believe is how it happened initially, and I said no to the sex tape at first. So they gave me the opportunity to do like kind of a Playboy style photo shoot, just I guess to get me more comfortable. So I did the photo shoot, actually had a really good time, really liked most of the photos that came out, and I guess that was just like my stepping stone into porn.
Yeah, so, those photo shoots are always a gateway drug to porn. Was Weiner the first and the only one, or had you done that in the past with other people?
No, I'd done that in the past with other people, but never to that extent where it like consumed my life and I started losing friends and I quit my job and, it just got to a point where it was really ridiculous. I've never been that involved with anyone.
Well, you're knee deep in it when you have to quit your job to continue sexting.
Well, he asked me to. So, yeah, I would have done anything he asked at that point.
So, okay, so let me understand that psychology a little bit better. When did he switch his name to Carlos Danger?
He only made that name up so he could send the penis pictures, actually, because he didn't want to send them through his personal Facebook account.
Okay, so he said, all right, you're going to get some pictures from Carlos. You're going to want to open them up.
He didn't even warn me. He made the email address, and I think he sent me like some sex or whatever through it, and then the pictures came. It was strange.
So that's interesting. I haven't had an affair, but if I did, I would imagine that I would want it to be as low-key as possible and be able to, distance yourself from it as quickly as possible. But he seemed to have gone in the other direction. Why in the world did he want you to quit your job and therefore be more attached to him?
I don't really know. I think, I'm obviously not a psychiatrist or psychologist or anything, but, I do wonder if there's, maybe some underlying sex addiction, something of that nature, at least impulse control issues. I don't know.
Do you think that if you didn't come forward, no one else came forward as far as I know, correct me if I'm wrong, that he might have actually won the race for mayor in New York?
Actually, yeah, I do think he would have won.
So how do you feel about that? I know you said you feel partly guilty. Do you also then feel partly justified? I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of what's confusing for me. It's like he was lying to the voters, and I did tell the truth. But like I said, on the other hand, you do have the days where you're like, this was someone that I was close to and cared about, so it does make me feel guilty. But then again, if someone is spending, the majority of their day, masturbating on the internet with a stranger, do they really need to be mayor of New York City? It doesn't really seem like they had the time.
Well, that I don't mind as much. The mayor, I suppose the mayor has to masturbate too. I don't know, right? But he was married, so that was obviously an issue, and there was an issue of trust. Although, we say politicians, he lied so people don't trust him, but all politicians lie. They lie endlessly.
It's true. They're all liars, pretty much. Yeah.
Right, and most of them lie about money and how it influences them, which is far worse. But
That's true.
But
yeah, and I do have, and another thing that I have an issue with is that, I've always felt like a little bit of a libertarian when it came to sexual stuff. So then it does make me feel shitty to feel like, okay, well, I judged him for something that I was doing myself. Yes, I'm not married and I wasn't running for office, but it wasn't a fun situation for me to realize that I was kind of discovering my sexuality in a way by shaming someone for theirs. And I do get the hypocrisy there. I really, really do. And that bothers me.
A funny question. Would you ever date a politician?
Of course I would. That's like my Achilles heel.
So if, I don't want to name any names. Oh, well, Steve Cohen's single. He's one of the most progressive guys in Tennessee, in the country. He's from Tennessee. And I don't say that he would date you or you would date him, but he's a liberal and he's single, so that's why I picked his name out of a hat. So somebody, what's that?
He should call me.
He should call you. Okay, all right. He also had tweeting issues. He got in trouble for tweeting with someone they thought was his mistress, or not mistress because he's not married, but that he was having a relationship with in the middle of the State of the Union. It turned out to be his daughter, who then later turned out not to be his daughter, but he thought it was his daughter. Anyway, so
that is very confusing.
I know. But you guys would have a lot to commiserate about. I didn't mean to get Steve Cohen in trouble there. But okay, you're open to it. Interesting. Sydney, along those lines, finally, if there was enough money, et cetera, would you consider doing that again?
What, the whole situation?
No. I mean the porn.
Yeah. I don't have any immediate plans to do another porn in the future, but it's something that I would consider. I'm keeping my options open, I guess. My feeling on it is I've already done one. I don't think if I decided to do two that would ruin my life. You know what I mean? So.
Right. If they came to you and offered you a lot of money for you and Monica Lewinsky in lesbian porn, would you do it?
Only if it was a hotter fake Monica. Yeah.
Oh, damn. Okay. That was harsh. Okay. So you're also open to that. That's interesting. Okay.
I am. So or even like a Puma and Hillary porn. I've thought of that. Don't think I'm not thinking.
Oh, wow. Okay. So if Bill Clinton came up to you and wanted to have an affair with you, would you do it?
Yes, and I would never tell a soul. I would take it to my grave. There are certain people that I would keep secrets from.
All right, one last one then along those lines. Barack Obama comes up and wants to have an affair with you. Would you do it?
Not a sitting president. No, thank you. I have too much respect for whoever holds that office, as corny as it sounds, but I truly do. So.
Wow, that is weirdly corny. Okay. Okay.
My dad was a military man, so I was kind of raised with that mindset. No matter who's in office, you need to be like kind and respectful. Even when I didn't like Bush, I wasn't allowed to like say crazy things about Bush.
Wow. Okay. Fascinating. I wouldn't have guessed that. Sydney Leathers, in a fascinating conversation here on the Young Turks. We really appreciate that you came on and cleared the record. And I appreciated your honesty in this interview. So thanks for doing it, Sydney.
Thanks for having me. I'm glad we got to talk and you know that I'm a real person, not a sociopathic bitch.